Are you looking for a pair of super cheap earbuds, be it for listening to music, or even for conference calls, video calls, movie watching, gaming, and all of that, but don't want them to sound basically like crap, and actually want a good audio experience without spending a ton of money? Then this infamous one more Piston fits that I have here will be perfect for you, costing at just under $10, so I'm sure you'll be able to afford it. Hey there, it's TJ with Technological Gadgets, bringing you the best in tech and making it work for you. On this channel, we do tech reviews, and in this video in particular, we will be reviewing a pair of super cheap earbuds. So if that is something that you like, make sure to drop me a like to let me know, and subscribe to help support the channel and what I do completely for free. And without further ado, let's get right to the review. First, let's talk about build quality. However, it does not have a very good and really poor kind of like wiry feeling cable with a single button for the inline controls and built-in microphone. However, it weighs in pretty light at around 14 grams. And as for how it fits in the ear, it fits in really well with these ear tips, and it's super comfortable to use for long periods of time. So you can use it for long commutes on the bus, or when you're using your computer or your phone for a long period of time. And it also has a really good seal in the ear, and this is great as it results in awesome sound isolation with a little to no sound leak, and it's great for listening in noisy environments or noise sensitive environments such as outdoors or at home when you have a lot of people around you. As for the microphone quality, I will be comparing the microphone on the One More Piston Fits to my inbuilt microphone on my Pixel 4a. So let's get right to the sound comparison. As for the microphone test, this is how the inline microphone on the One More Piston Fit sound like, and they actually sound really clear while picking up a surprising amount of bass tones in my voice, which is great in making my voice sound rich and full instead of sounding weak and tinny. And here is a comparison of how I would sound like on the internal microphone on the Pixel 4a that I'm recording right now, and as you can hear, there is really no competition at all. After hearing the sound comparison, I think the microphone on the One More Piston Fit sounds surprisingly clear and high quality, which I was not expecting of at all for like $10. And it picks up quite a lot of bass tones in the voice, which is really good, and also picks up a lot of clarity in my voice as well, and surprisingly blocks out quite a lot of background noise, as you can hear. As for the sound quality, here's a frequency graph provided by the phonograph that you can check out, but of course I explain how it sounds, and of course I've tested it for about a few weeks now, so I kind of know how it sounds. First, let's start off with the low frequencies, aka the bass. There is a lot of mid bass, quite a lot of like mid and like high bass especially. So, and however, there is not a lot of sub bass due to a kind of early bass roll off, as you can see from the frequency graph. and this makes the overall bass frequency kind of sound. This makes the overall bass frequency and earbuds kind of sound more punchy and less rumbly and less deep. And as for the mids, it is pretty warm and pretty smooth. However, there is quite a bit of mid bass bleed as a high bass bleed into the mid bass. So as for the mids, it is pretty warm and smooth sounding. However, there is quite a bit of high bass and mid bass bleed into the mids, and making it sound a little making the low mid sound a little less clear and slightly congested. However, vocals still sound pretty clear and concise. As for the highs, that is good brightness and detail with pretty low sibilance, and no piercing frequencies at all, which makes it sound quite smooth. However, it is not very bright and not very detailed sounding, making the overall sound signature kind of like a more darker sound signature rather than a more brighter sound signature. Since there is more bass, then there is more highs. As for the soundstage and imaging, honestly, there is not much of it since they are earbuds, and it overall feels pretty closed off, and yeah, kind of feels like the sound is coming around somewhere around here. But one good thing about this pair of earbuds is that it has really good stereo separation, so you can separate between the left channel and the right channel, and a good amount of directionality. But overall, there is not much soundstage and imaging. Sort of any sort of bass heavy kind of music genre, such as electronic music, such as the ones that I produce over at Hypothermite, copyright free and DMCA free music. Mainly I produce bass house and big room, and those sound really good on this pair of earbuds. And also they sound really good for R&B, rap, and also hip hop. Though the sub bass won't, though you won't feel a really rumbly sub bass, but a more kind of punchy sound. And overall, it will not be really good for sort of more high-end, more high-end frequency music, such as like classical music, jazz, and things like that. However, movies and games do feel really great, especially action movies and FPS games where the explosions can be heard, though not as powerful, and definitely it's not kind of like you can feel the explosion, though it can be heard really clearly due to there not being much sub bass, as I previously mentioned. However, footsteps sound pretty clear, and you can hear where enemies are coming from, in the stereo channel, left and right, which is really good for detecting enemies. But you can't hear much, in the front and back, and it's more of just like, kind of around here instead of, front and back kind of deal. And also a con is that it doesn't sound as wide as an open, like I mentioned before, and sounds more kind of like closed off like this. Then there may be like in a room and stuff like that. And this brings me to my conclusion. In my opinion, I think this pair of earbuds for under $10 is an absolute steal for the price, being well built, comfortable, fitting great in your ear, and of course having a really good sound quality for the price, for most genres of music that you'll be listening today, and having good punchy bass with clear mids and pretty smooth highs, not to mention with the awesome inline microphone for calls, conferences, live streams, and basically all your recording needs. So let me know if you will pick up these earbuds, and let me know down in the comment section below if you have any other sort of questions about this pair of earbuds, and I'll be sure to answer them. So if this video has helped you out so far in making that purchasing decision on whether you should buy the One More Piston Fits, which I personally think you should, make sure to drop me a like to let me know, and subscribe if you haven't already to help support the channel and what I do completely free of charge. Last but not least, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.